Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Impact Review for the Nature of Things here in the 2021 end of year, or almost close to it anyway, edition of the program here. And certainly, Impact has fallen as a program. Actually, pulled up the wrong notes here, so we'll just switch and go to the Winter is Coming review for AEW from this past Wednesday, the 15th of December. Show report is pretty basic here because there's very few matches. Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz are on commentary before the match. Justin Roberts did the big match introduction for the first match of the night, which is a 60-minute time limit draw between Hangman Page, your champion, and Bryan Danielson. They have a very strong lockup to begin the match. Danielson nails Page with a not clean break. Next exchange, Danielson comes out ahead, and Page comes back with a shoulder tackle. Danielson goes for the leg and regroups again. There is technical exchanges until hits him in the chest, stunning the challenger for the first time. Page then gains full control for the first time, catching Danielson and turning him into a power slam. Danielson counters, basically locking the legs of the champion together, and then locks him up in the midsection, locks on the Romero special, and turns it into a dragon sleeper. Before it lets it go, Page then goes through a striking series with Danielson in the corner. Page lays in the 10 punches. Danielson uses a single leg takedown and wrenches on the champion's leg. He then locks on a side figure four. Bunch of ground and pound. Danielson sets up Page on the apron, and then the champion wants the Buckeye Lariat, but Danielson cuts him off with a forearm, sending him to the floor. Page then counters and sends him off with a springboard dive into a forearm, follows by a Pescado. Crowd is behind Page, probably by about 75% or so. Back in the ring, Page goes for a lariat, but gets cut off mid-kick. Danielson then captures Page's ribs, sends him into the bottom rope, tries to get the champion and tie him up in the ropes, and then lands a diving knee right ahead of a commercial break. Page turns the tables into a back suplex and buys himself some time. Danielson then goes to the corner and uses some invasive movements. Page catches him, though, with a fallaway slam. Page then crotches Danielson over the top rope and hits a springboard lariat and sends the challenger to the floor. Tope Suicida is next, followed by a top rope moonsault all the way to the floor. Then Page goes for the sliding lariat. Danielson reverses into a cradle for near fall. Champion hits the Death Valley Driver for a near fall of his own. They battle on the top rope. Danielson sneaks out of the superplex and goes after the legs of Page that he worked on earlier. Page then punches Danielson away, goes for the moonsault. Danielson rolls and then uses the three-quarter roll cradle for a near fall. Page counters with a knee and cradle of his own. Danielson then goes for the label lock, but Page turns it into a roll through. Challenger then kicks out and applies an ankle lock. Before kicking the champion's midsection, Danielson attacks Page in the corner, hitting two running drop kicks. Page then turns a third into a pop-up powerbomb and then hits a 2 count. The champion sets up a buckshot lariat, but Danielson rolls out of the ring. Page then goes for another moonsault. Danielson pops up and shoves him to the top rope off the apron, and then he sends Page into the ring post and drives his shoulder into Paige and then busts him open, leading into a second break. Paige is checked on by the officials during the break. Upon return, Danielson hits a sliding dropkick and a diving knee to Paige on the floor. He then beats Paige down in the corner. Champion counter continues to bleed. And then Danielson targets Paige's arm. Paige counters the Bushido knee, and then Danielson fights out with a slam attempt and hits a German suplex bridge for a near fall. On the apron, Danielson then kicks in until Paige avoids one, and Danielson kicks the post. Paige capitalizes on sends his knee into the post. Back in the ring, Paige locks on the figure four, forcing Danielson to reach the ropes and going into the third commercial break. Back from that commercial, Danielson hits an enziguri before they trade strikes in the center of the ring. Pop-up powerbomb into a Rana cradle for a near fall, and then they transition into cross armbreaker attempt. Paige then rolls into a triangle, but is able to power out of the powerbomb, but Danielson keeps the hold on. Before Paige reaches the ropes, Danielson lands a bunch of strikes. Paige surprises Danielson with a tombstone piledriver for a near fall. They fight on the top rope where Danielson fights out and hits a regal plex bridge for near fall. Danielson then hits an avalanche back suplex for another near fall, then goes for the gut style piledriver on the apron, but Paige reverses it into a deadeye. The spot this late in the match makes sense, but it's too dangerous to bother with. We go to another commercial break, and then during that break, Danielson rolls back the floor, exposing concrete and nailing Paige with a DDT. Paige hits a German suplex. Danielson then goes for kicks, but he doesn't have enough of an effect. Paige then hits lariats, but the same thing happened to him. And the participants target those body parts early on. They fight the top rope yet again, where Paige flips out and back suplex hits a rolling lariat. Trade more forearms in the center of the ring. Trading cradles, Paige flips into a German suplex, and then they both hit the discus forearms. Danielson counters the forearm into a sick high kick, and then Paige counters into a Bushido knee into a deadeye for a near fall. Paige then returns the favor by kicking Danielson in the head. 2 minutes left in the match, and then the buckshot lariat. Danielson turns it into a bell lock. They nail each other with cross faces. 1 minute call sounds, and Paige catches Danielson in the ropes and comes back with a lariat. Buckshot lariat followed, but time limit rang out as that happened. Best match on cable television in the last 25 years. Easily, maybe even longer. Definitely worth going out of your way to see if you can find it online. Unfortunately, we follow up with goofiness. The Super Click and Bobby Fish are backstage. Cole talks about leaving the best friends laying multiple times. Nick then suggests an 8-man tag on Rampage. Matt suggests they super kick Sue and leave her laying. Then we go to Wardlow with Shawn Spears defeating Matt Sydal. Sydal attempts kicks and uses speed to avoid power moves. Lands high kicks. Wardlow catches him with a spinning heel kick, turned it into a powerbomb. Wardlow then lays in multiple power bombs. Spears grabs the mic and tells him to finish him. And Wardlow hits another power bomb for the win. After the match, Spears attacks Sydal with a chair, gets a call from MJF and reveals that they have to go get champagne for MJF's celebration of winning the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Video package air as Ty Conti and Penelope Ford, leading into their submission match with Rampage on Friday. Mikael Black talks about how human nature is violent. We should all accept that. He appears to have disciples in the House of Black. The house always wins, he says. Sakura Shida defeats Serena Deeb. Not a bad match. Probably the worst match these two have had, though. Deeb attacks before the bell. Shida tosses her kendo stick at her. They briefly are separated, and then Dee gets in the corner, gets hit with a drop kick, hits a springboard crossbody. Dee rolls through into a knee bar, forcing Shida to fight to the ropes. Shida then goes for the corner knees, but Dee avoids that. Locks on the figure four across the ring post, continuing to target the knee, and then Shida fires up, and upon return from the commercial, laying in repeated right hands, hits a step up enziguri for 2, followed by a delayed vertical suplex for 2 more. They follow up on the top rope, where Dee regains control by wrenching on Shida's knee, follows up with a neckbreaker across the steel cable, and into the corner for 2. Dee then floats over into a modified Muda lock, and Shida makes a way to the rope, forcing a break, then attacks with multiple twisting neck breakers. Shida powers out, Falcon Arrow, and starts a comeback. They trade cradles. Dee blocks on a single leg Boston Crab. Shida doesn't tap. Dee then exposes the top turnbuckle in frustration. Shida blocks that attempt and sends her into it, and they trade more pinfall attempts. Shida kicks Dee in the turnbuckle and jackknifes her for another cradle, this time getting the win. Varsity Blondes are backstage. Shivani asks them about Mikael Black's attack on Julia Hart. Griff Garrison says Hart's not here, and Black is a coward. Pillman tells him not to buy into it, maybe teasing Griff Garrison turning, and he shoves Pillman away and said next week he's going to lay Black out. Hook's debut is talked about. Eddie Kingston addresses Daniel Garcia 2.0. He said he's tired of them, and he challenged them to a 5-on-5 tag match at Rampage. Kingston, Santana Ortiz, and the Lucha Brothers versus 2.0, Garcia, and whomever they want to bring. Before the main event, MJF calls this place a dump and insults fans. He says he is met with CM Punk, chants he deserves title shot when he beats Dante, who he could beat with a headlock takeover. And here's your main event. MJF defeats Dante Martin for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Decent enough main event, and MJF hits a side headlock takeover right away. Dante comes out and outmaneuvers MJF with his speed and athleticism, hits a wild 450 knee for near fall, then goes for a springboard, but MJF rolls out to the floor and avoids a dive. MJF tries to catch Dante upon re-entry to the ring, but Dante has that scouted, then hits a double springboard moonsault, but MJF counters and sends Dante all the way back into the barricade on the floor. MJF dominated through the commercial. Once back, Dante turns into a powerbomb and attempts a victory roll for near fall. MJF then hits the powerbomb and stacks Dante up using the ropes as leverage, but the official stops the count, and then he saw the illegal pin. Dante is perched on the top rope and comes back with a missile dropkick, starting his own comeback. And then Dante backflips to avoid tackle, hits a crazy dive to the floor, followed by a tope over the top turnbuckle, followed by another Fosbury flop, and hits a springboard shooting star press on MJF out to the floor. Lots of people say this is incredible. I think it's gymnastics, and if you like that in your wrestling, you're going to love Dante Martin. If you don't, and you're like me, and you like realism, you're going to hate that whole sequence. Back in the ring, Dante rain down strikes in the corner, rolls through multiple times. MJF surprises Dante out of nowhere with a side headlock takeover for near fall, and then they trade more cradles. Dante hits a side headlock takeover of his own, and MJF powers out of that and hits the Liger Bomb for yet another near fall. Dante hits a double springboard moonsault. Ricky Starks runs it down, breaking up the pin. MJF then locks on Soul to the Earth for submission victory and winning the Dynamite Diamond Ring. After the match, FTR comes out to celebrate with MJF. Lights go out, Sting and Darby Allin appear, and they brawl. MJF gives his side the numbers advantage. Darby and Sting are dominated until CM Punk's music hits. Punk comes out, clears things, and closes the show. We'll be back with more right after this.